In this session, we're going to have a look at how to navigate within the DocHaven window. Now, there are many things you can do to make life a lot easier and faster for yourself, like for example, as well as being able to click on particular projects, you can actually double click on a project, and that double clicking will get it to open that project. There we go, so you can go inside that way. Another thing you can do with the mouse is actually shift click. So if I hold down, if I go to the first item in a list and hold down the shift key, it'll select a number of items in between. If I hold down the control on the Windows or the command key on the Mac, I can unselect certain items as well to select individuals. Now that's useful if you've got lots of different projects, lots of different documents within a project. You can select the particular ones you want to print or to delete or whatever it is you want to do. Now we're not limited to just using the mouse, you can also use the arrow keys. So if I press the arrow key up, I can move up the selection. If I use the arrow key down. Now the arrow key left and right as well also work. The left and right arrow keys, for example, if I'm on this window here, which is this folder is open, if I hit the left hand arrow key, it then closes that folder. If I hit the right hand arrow key, it opens it up. The other thing you can do is you can hit the first letter. So for example, if I wanted to come down to C for current user, if I press the letter C on the keyboard, it jumps straight down the list looking for the first item in the list starting with the letter C. Now if I'm already on that item and I press C again, it'll jump down to the next item in the list which has got the letter C in it. So that's another quick way to navigate via the keyboard. In addition to those, you can navigate using the triangles. So if I click a triangle to close, there we go, it'll close, or I can open it as well. Okay, now if we scroll up to the top, we can actually even close the DocHaven folder itself and click right, and then it'll go off and display all the folders. Now in addition to being able to move up and down and around the different projects, we can actually do some more things in here. We can actually right click on files. So if I right click on this file, for example, I have all sorts of different options. I can edit the project name. Now the project's name is listed here as new 2012 accounts. Now it doesn't matter which item I'm highlighting within the project. It could be the main folder itself, or it could be any file within it. I can right click it and edit that particular project's name. So there we go, I get the project name, I can change it and then hit OK. Now I'm not going to in this circumstance. Other things that I can do include refresh. Now that may be useful if more files have been added into this folder between the times that I've come back and had a look at it. So I can click on the right click here, refresh, and it'll update this particular list of information. But nothing's changed, so nothing to view there. Now this is a useful feature, duplicate in sequence. Now normally we keep sequences of projects by each time we do a boomerang or put them away, it keeps multiple versions on the server. But there's no reason why you can't keep multiple versions of a document within the actual project itself. And that is exactly what we have duplicate in sequence for. Now when I right click and choose duplicate in sequence, what it's going to do is it's going to take that file that we've got highlighted, and if it doesn't have it already, it's going to append a space and a number of numbers together, 4 numbers, so that it'll start a sequence of that particular number. So let me go duplicate in sequence. The first time we run it, it's just going to rename that particular file to with the 4 zeros there. So that shows us this is the very first one in a series. If we right click on it and choose duplicate in sequence again, it now makes a copy of that file and puts a sequential number on there. We can do that as many times as we want, duplicating in sequence, and that will keep within the project but within the one project, a running sequence, a versioning, a series of versions within a project for as long as you want. So if you wanted to go back to the first one, you could, or the second, or the third one that we've got, and it would be held all there within the one project. Now presumably once you've made all these different drafts and you're happy with it, you can highlight the old ones and delete them, get rid of them. And if you wanted to rename the main one you've got, you have the option down here to rename that file. Now some of the other things we've got of interest: open, reveal, boomerang, all the way down to get info are the same as the ones we've got in the toolbar here and through the menus. We have another option to create a new folder, which is exactly the same as what we would do in the Finder. We could go and reveal and create a new folder, but if you're already in DocHaven, it's quite easy to create a new folder here. We can go and rename files as well, so we could rename this one, for example, and get rid of the numbering if we knew that, okay, this is the final draft, we're happy with that, and there we go. We have some other options as well. Delete, which is the same as what's in the menu there. We can send messages. That'll send a DocHaven message to the particular owner of this project. Some of the things are related to emails as well. So we could, for example, send an email to the owner. It'll automatically go off and work out whoever the owner is, work out if they've got an email address, and offer to send an email message to that particular person. And you can describe whatever you want to the owner or the client for whom that project belongs. If the client who owns this project also has a website, we can go to the client's website. And we have two other options down here, a bit more interface things. By default, the size of the font I think is 9 point, maybe 10 point. So let's come up here and choose the font size, and it'll change it's 11 point, there we go. If you find it's too large or too small, you can come down here and change the font size to whatever you want. Let's make it something smaller, down to 9 point. Or we can come back if you find it too small and change it to something larger. So let's change it to about, say, 14 point. And there you go. The text is a lot larger. It's a bit tighter, but at least for those who prefer to see the text larger, you have the option there. Now the other thing we've got down here is speech. By default, speech is on, which tells you when you've taken out or put away projects, particularly if they're running in the background. That's useful. You can go off into the settings and turn that off overall, or if it is actually speaking at the moment, there's no reason just for this session why you can't just turn speech off through that function there. Okay, that is a description of all of the main functions within the user interface of using the DocHaven window itself. I hope they prove useful for you, and that's all. Thank you very much. Goodbye.